Sanibona guys, ngiyathemba niyaphila and konke kuhamba kahle. So previously I touched on how some attractions manifest as something else in the 3D. If you're not grounded in who you truly are, then you might perceive it as a romantic connection. So today I'd like to elaborate on why it's important to know yourself so you can be able to distinguish why people come into your life. Like I mentioned, it can happen that there is a romantic connection between a healer and a patient. However, that is a whole nother topic I'll discuss when I'm called to. What's important to note here is it happens between two individuals who are self-aware and are doing the actual work within themselves. Their discernment muscle is strong and they are able to use it wisely. They have consulted with their guides and they have gotten the proper confirmations they need. So going back to the example I made between a healer and a client who are not fully grounded in who they are. This can create a lot of friction in the ancestral realm because sometimes, yes, the healer can continue carrying out what was the original assignment. However, not all of the time. Feelings can cloud your judgment, and in results to that, the client's guides no longer seek assistance in that healer. So meaning they no longer trust that healer. This is how it might play out in the 3D. For the patient, because the healing is not complete, this results in your guides having to actively go look for another healer they can get into a new contract with. Because they don't have a second healer on standby, this can take months, years even, resulting in your life being stagnant. They have to find a new healer. They then have to plead with the ancestors of that healer, and if they agree, they have to create a series of events that lead you to your new healer. Same applies to the new healer. Their guides have to do the same. Remember, when your ancestors go to the new healer's guides, they have to offer something in exchange to them fitting you in their schedules. Sometimes they give a lot more than what they'll be receiving. Sometimes what you're going to learn from that new healer is way less than what you would have originally got, which is why sometimes they might not even go out to seek a healer for you. They will let you struggle till you learn the lessons. However, they will create a series of events that will teach you what you could have easily learned from that previous healer. And then for the original healer, this can be a significant learning curve for the healer, especially if they have karmic debts to clear. In some cases, it may serve as a test to see whether they've truly evolved from their past patterns and have released any lingering residue from previous situations. Something to be aware of. Sometimes when romantic feelings develop towards the healer, you might unknowingly become the sacrificial lamb. What does this mean? While the healer teaches you valuable lessons, your ancestors may in turn assist the healer by helping resolve deep-rooted issues within their own family lines. This connection becomes especially complex when you begin dreaming about the healer's home life or encountering their ancestors in visions, ancestors you otherwise couldn't have known about. Once the spiritual assignment is complete, the two of you might part ways. This is rare though. Now I know this might sound familiar, especially for those of us who grew up in places like Soweto. Celibacy was really encouraged or even discussed openly. Conversations about sex often came in the form of warnings, don't have children too early, but we were never really taught about abstaining or preventing our energies until marriage, or until we were emotionally and spiritually ready. Now that we are more aware, practicing celibacy or intentionally abstinence becomes more than just a moral choice. It's a tool. It helps you understand the connections that enter your life. It protects